In honor of National Slavery and Human Trafficking Month, I just wanted to share some experiences I've had talking with two survivors in particular. One woman named Naideen called me my second day on the job here at National Center on Sexual Exploitation and shared her story with me about being trafficked by her husband, particularly for the production of hardcore pornography. She met this wonderfully attractive, kind, successful, slightly older man when she was young and low on self-confidence. She fell in love quickly, married him quickly, and then found herself in a really terrible situation where she was regularly drugged and held against her will and forced to participate in the most terrible types of pornography that I know about: bestiality films, hardcore BDSM, torture pornography. And this went on for 3 years before she was able to really get away. And it wasn't that she was held for 3 years, it was just that she wasn't able to get out of the situation, and these types of things continued over and over again. She had told me about how other girls were brought in to the sets and forced to participate as well, and that most of these girls were young children and they didn't even speak English. So we know that there was kind of a whole trafficking ring that was part of this whole porn production. And she knows that the films were mass-produced and distributed as well. Just a couple days later, again, this is my first week on the job here at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, another woman named Angel called and told me about her story. She ran away from home when she was just 15 years old and found herself homeless on the streets for a couple of days. And a man stopped by and offered her a place to stay that was safer, warmer, off the streets, and food. And so she took it thinking that he was just nice and wanting to help her. After about a week and a half, he showed up demanding payment for his nice favors that he provided, and he started bringing the apartment that he gave her was actually above a bar, and so he started bringing men up from the bar, selling her and forcing her to participate in sex acts. She said that there were holes drilled in the room where there were cameras hidden, and that those cameras were recording many of the acts. She didn't know how many of the acts were actually recorded, and she didn't know what happened with the footage afterwards, if it was uploaded to the internet or not. But this was my first week on the job here as a full-time staff member at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. It's been a number of years since then, but the memory of talking to these women is just seared in my mind, and the fact that we need to help people understand that there are strong connections between pornography and sex trafficking is a major goal of ours here at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, because we've heard from dozens and dozens of these women. Every year we hear from women who are both trafficked, kind of the more historical sense that the public thinks of sex trafficking, but also those who are trafficked in the production of mainstream pornography, who are forced and coerced, and things are held over their heads against their will to participate in mainstream things you're seeing when you go online. So I thankfully have stayed in touch with both Angel and Naideen, and I know that they're doing well, and they've put in a lot of work and effort in their efforts to overcome the horrific things that happen to them. So there is a lot of hope, but we can't allow this stuff to continue. We can't allow women to continue to be degraded and used and abused, and boys and men as well. And so one of our efforts we started here, campaign, is Stop Trafficking Demand. You can go to stoptraffickingdemand.com, where we've laid out a lot of the ways that pornography and sex trafficking are really connected, and some different things you can do. So stoptraffickingdemand.com, go there this month, share it please this month in honor of the National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and help people see that if we want to do something to drastically curb the problem of human trafficking in America, we have to start addressing some of the major factors. And one of those major factors is pornography. It's driving demand for men to go out and buy and sell women and children. And we know that many in pornography are trafficked as well. So thank you again, stoptraffickingdemand.com.